The Buffalo Bills defense harassed Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in their Week 9 matchup en route to a 21-21 victory on Sunday. This now puts Josh Allen and the Bills' regular season record against Mahomes and the Chiefs to 5 wins with just one singular loss. The Bills executed a great game plan on Sunday with impactful performances from guys like Joey Bosa, Rousseau, Cole Bishop, and Maxwell Hairston. The Bills held Mahomes to just a 44% completion percentage, which was the lowest of his career. He also had a career high in average depth of target at 13.1 yards, which means that there was nothing easy given to him underneath and short in the passing game. Lastly, Mahomes was sacked 3 times and he was hit 15 times in this game, which is a career high for him as well, and he took some legitimate big shots in this one. Multiple players on this defense stepped up throughout the game, and it was truly a full team effort that led to the Bills' success on that side of the ball. Sean McDermott dialed up multiple different types of man and zone coverages, both with disguises. He blitzed Mahomes, simulated pressure, and brought lots of stunts and twists up front, which often overwhelmed this Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. On the first third down of the game for the Kansas City Chiefs, linebacker Dorian Williams does a great job of scraping over the top late and overloading the right side of this offensive line. And he's lined up here, so you can kind of see him scraping across. And he's just going to get attached to Trey Smith and stunt across here, which ends up freeing Gregory Rousseau to pick up a quarterback pressure. And this ball is overthrown a touch by Mahomes and ends up leading to a 3-and-out to start the game for Buffalo. So as I let this run here, again, you can see he gets engaged with Trey Smith, kind of gets him turned, and then he immediately rams right into Jawan Taylor, which springs Greg Rousseau free to come around on the twist. And he's able to get into Mahomes' face. Again, it doesn't look like he's able to fully get everything he wants on that pass and ends up sailing out of bounds over the head of Rashee Rice. And the Bills start the game off with a 3-and-out with some early pressure off of a stunt. The Bills' first sack of the game was a perfectly called corner blitz, which absolutely shut down this play-action boot here by Kansas City. What you're going to have first is Travis Kelce coming in motion, and then you're going to get kind of a jet motion here by Xavier Worthy. And I'll pause it here just to walk through the routes really quickly, but you're going to have sail to this side of the screen, so it's going to have an outside release go by Worthy. Noah Gray is going to be running kind of this deep sail route. You do have a sit route with Rashee Rice on the backside that does look like it's open and there's a window to throw it into, but again, this blows up so quickly that there's not really a good opportunity for Mahomes to get the ball out. And then you have a sneak flat from Kelce, which is actually going to be covered by this defensive end, who looks like he's going to get unblocked as a part of the pass protection for the play-action boot, but Benford is unaccounted for, and he has a free lane to Mahomes, and he absolutely blows this play up before anything can even get going for the Kansas City Chiefs here. Nothing for Mahomes to do, has to eat a 6-yard sack on 1st and 10 on the Chiefs' second drive of the game. The pocket collapsed on Mahomes from multiple angles in the game on Sunday, and this one here on 1st down, midway through the second quarter, did not require any stunts or twists. It's just a great job by the defensive tackle here, Ogunjobi, of pushing Trey Smith right into Mahomes' lap, which then flushes him out to his right, and Gregory Rousseau does a great job of keeping the pursuit up, forcing a throwaway here on 1st down. Now, I mentioned Cole Bishop is one of the players who had an impressive performance against the Chiefs, and these back-to-back plays stood out on broadcast and stand out even more watching the tape back from it. The Chiefs here are in 3rd and 3 late in the second quarter, and they're going to motion Xavier Worthy from this trip set across the 2x2 and snap it while he's in motion, and this essentially is just a hitch from Rashee Rice, and they're looking to get the ball out on the outside to Xavier Worthy and let the speedster go one-on-one up the sideline. And it is an unbelievable ability from Cole Bishop here to work with Xavier Worthy in motion and break on this, and is able to get a big-time PBU on this play. Just look at the speed that he's able to close on this route with. Nearly jumps it. Is able to get the big-time PBU. Now, there was a flag thrown for I believe illegal formation, so it was not going to stand even if it had been caught, but nonetheless, with the penalty decline, this is a big-time pass breakup against one of the fastest receivers in the NFL for a guy like Cole Bishop. On the very next play, Cole Bishop is going to be lined up here in the slot, head up against Rashee Rice. Now, this is zone coverage, but he plays this technique perfectly, understanding that this is 4th and 3 as the Chiefs are going for it, as they are on the Buffalo Bills side of the field. And he does a great job of not getting too much depth with his zone drop, understanding the short sticks and reads and breaks on this hitch route perfectly from Patrick Mahomes to Rashee Rice, is able to get a second straight pass breakup in a row, a big-time play for Cole Bishop. And again, just look at how he drops. Instead of getting so much depth, he kind of goes at a slight angle, which gives him the ability to be able to drive on this football and get to PBU and prevent a first down conversion at a critical moment in the game where the Chiefs are driving, looking to get a go-ahead score. After a Buffalo touchdown, the score is 21-10 with 20 seconds left in the first half, and the Bills make a phenomenal goal line stand here to close out the first half. This first play is an absolute blow-up on this inside zone, particularly by these two defensive linemen, so that's Jordan Phillips and Greg Rousseau, and they do a great job of just getting depth into the backfield. You can see Jordan Phillips slants across face there and gets right into Kareem Hunt's face, who tries to kind of bounce it back. Greg Rousseau, again, does another great job of not getting washed back, kind of resetting the line of scrimmage there. And you've got two more Bills defenders here. There's nowhere for Kareem Hunt to go on this one, and that is a stuff on first down for no gain. This is now 2nd and goal from the 1, and this play should look familiar to you if you've watched the Chiefs for a while. This is that corn dog play, the fake jet motion where he does the return flat. The Bills were actually in zone coverage, so this is very well covered. This, again, it typically is a premier look you would want to run against man. The Bills come out in zone and are able to cover it up, cover everything, and they are able to force a throwaway there from Patrick Mahomes. Now, I'll put it up on screen here, again, some of the examples of that corn dog play that they've run in the Super Bowl with that fake motion and turn back out for a speed flat, which typically, again, blows wide open against man coverage. But on this one against zone, the Bills have it covered perfectly. Lastly, on 3rd and goal, Cole Bishop, again, making plays all over the place for this Buffalo defense. He is going to pop Travis Kelce on, what kind of looks like a little, shake corner route. And he just does a great job of reading Mahomes' eyes. As he kind of drops out into zone, you can kind of see him keying into him here. They're looking at each other. Kelce is just now getting ready to put his foot in the ground and break out. And again, Cole Bishop does a great job, and he puts a lick onto Kelce that is even harder looking when I cut over to this end zone shot. But again, a great job of getting into his zone drop, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and puts a big shot on Travis Kelce. That ends up being a big swing in the game. Again, that was 3rd and goal from the 1. The Chiefs now have to settle for a field goal. So instead of going into the half down 17-21, the Chiefs are down 8 at 13-21. Into the 3rd quarter now, this play is a great example of some of the disguising that Buffalo was doing in this game. Travis Kelce is lined up in the slot. Mahomes is going to send him in motion. You kind of see that, kind of the movement with the corner there that usually would key a quarterback that you're going to get man. And this is an RPO. So what you have here is kind of power in the run game. So you're going to get 2 different pullers here with Kareem Hunt as a run option, but you're also getting a bubble screen with Xavier Worthy. And Mahomes can either run or throw the screen. Now, from this look with how far Cole Bishop is at depth, the bubble screen looks like a good option because, again, he's not going to necessarily be able to get down right away. He might have to kind of get in the wash with these 2 corners. That could spring a guy like Xavier Worthy free on the bubble screen. But what Cole Bishop does is right before the snap of the ball, you see him start to walk up towards the line, and he immediately reads it and goes right at Xavier Worthy. So this should probably be a give to Kareem Hunt. Not necessarily going to be the greatest game, but you kind of live to see another down. Instead, this turns into a TFL as Worthy has to avoid Cole Bishop, and he ends up getting brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 1 or 2 yards. Again, Cole Bishop was playing out of his mind in this one. Just look at the speed at which he closes on this bubble screen, blows the entire play up, and a TFL is found in the process because of it. The very next play is a 3rd and 7, and at this point in the game, I think the pressure that the Bills had been able to find on Mahomes has really started to pay off, and he's starting to get a little bit of happy feet in the pocket, and he misses what could be a really big hookup to Xavier Worthy at the top of the screen here. Now, the main routes here on this play is you're going to kind of get this crossing route from Travis Kelce, and then you're going to get basically a post corner from Xavier Worthy, and this comes really, really open. But Mahomes starts to flush himself out of the pocket. So, he has 4-ish yards of space. He doesn't really need to go anywhere. Begins to roll out. And I want to call this out here. Here is, Xavier Worthy starting to make that break. And this comes really, really open. And he is not, able to see it because he's already rolled himself out. For really no great reason. This ends up forcing the ball down the field. Again, who else is there? Cole Bishop continuing to make plays. But a big-time miss for Mahomes. Again, I'll play it once more. But, as he starts to roll out, there's no pressure for him. There's no need for him to speed himself up or kind of get outside of the pocket. In fact, rolling out actually allows, kind of that spy to kind of pull the chain on him and really speeds up this play. Where he tries to now have to force it downfield. But there is a lot of space here for Xavier Worthy to work with. He can kind of throw it down the sideline. At this point, he can lead him a little bit more up the field. But that all kind of means he would have had to sit in the pocket and hang in there and throw it. He's rolled out at this point without having to. And again, forces an incompletion deep down the field, getting the Bills off the field once again. From watching this back, guard Trey Smith just had a rough go in this one. This play gets blown up by, again, Larry Ogunjobi here, number 99. This is kind of an inside zone run to Kareem Hunt here in the backfield. And he just has to give a little bit more help before he climbs up to Terrell Bernard here. And he kind of just hangs Jawan Taylor out to dry. Again, this is not a super easy block for a tackle to come down and block a 3-eye basically solo. And that pressure ends up blowing this run up, holds into just a 1-yard gain. So again, he doesn't really give anything here. And I understand this is a pretty, far gap for a guy like Trey Smith to cover. Is a lot of ground, so he wants to get up to the second level as fast as possible. But you have got to make sure that the first level is always accounted for before climbing. He does not, hangs Jawan Taylor out to dry, and Larry blows this one up in the backfield, holds it to just a gain of 1 with Cam Lewis coming in and making the tackle there as well. And then on the very next play, Greg Rousseau puts a little bit of a hump move on Jawan Taylor here. Forces the ball out of Mahomes' hands probably a little bit earlier than he wanted to. And Maxwell Hairston is running step for step with Xavier Worthy. So this is why Maxwell Hairston flew up draft boards. He has that long speed, and it's finally coming into display here for Buffalo now that he's healthy and off of the IR. Running step for step with Xavier Worthy there. Again, the ball is not exactly where Mahomes would want it to be with the pressure by Greg Rousseau, but just again, he was not able to sit in a comfortable, clean pocket all night. In the fourth quarter with a 15-point lead, Joey Bosa really came online for the Buffalo Bills and started to wreak havoc for the Chiefs. This is a filthy counter move that he pulls on this left tackle here. He starts out with a bull rush once the ball is snapped, really charging hard at the tackle. You see the tackle kind of hops and anchors up. And then understanding that now the tackle is fully anchored, he's got to hit a second move. Swims over the top of them, is able to pick up the sack on Patrick Mahomes. Again, this was 2nd and 8. It's the very first play of the fourth quarter. Sets up 3rd and very long for the Kansas City Chiefs. About midway through the fourth quarter, this is a 2nd and 2 where the Bills are now only holding on to a 7-point lead in this game. Need to find a stop on this drive. The Chiefs look to want to run outside zone on this play. You get the motion across, which brings 39 into the box, who ends up making the play. That is Cam Lewis. And you're kind of getting on this type of play. You're going to get 1-for-1 here. you're envisioning these two, so Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith for them two. Likely 77 and 76 working this defensive lineman up to, I believe this is number 8, Terrell Bernard, the backer. Now, Cam Lewis does a great job of pressing down into the run fit and then scrapes across, doesn't let Trey Smith get hands on him, comes over, makes the tackle for really no gain on Kareem Hunt on top of a holding penalty that was called here. So if I run this back really quickly, right there on Greg Rousseau, that was also called. So this ends up being not just a tackle for no gain, but actually a 10-yard loss with the holding penalty. But again, a great play here by Cam Lewis, disengaging from Trey Smith, picking up the tackle for no gain. Again, a rough showing from Trey Smith on a watch back from this one. Now to the final 3 plays of the game. This first one here has 17 seconds left. This is after the Matt Prater missed field goal. Number 56, Javon Solomon here absolutely blows up the left tackle here on this twist, which springs Joey Bosa free for the pressure and forces an incompletion because of it. But I mean, this is boom, knocks him 360 whirly bird. Joey Bosa gets a hit on Patrick Mahomes, has to sail it out of bounds. But I mean, you can't ask for a much better twist than what you just got out of those two. If you want teaching tape on how to be the first guy on any twist or stunt, this is perfect. Boom. I mean, absolutely frees up Joey Bosa and still engaged with Kareem Hunt. There is no one to block Joey Bosa. He gets the hit on Mahomes. Again, Mahomes was on the ground a bunch, 15 total hits in this game, but you just can't ask for a better trigger on a twist than that right there. Now the last play of the game after a Cole Bishop PBU on a 50-50 ball to play before. You're in full Hail Mary territory. One thing I just want to call out is that I love that the Bills sent pressure at Mahomes. Do not let these guys get a free throw into the end zone so you can have a ton of guys back here in coverage and even, risk the potential for, a batted ball or a tip just falling the wrong way, a la what happened in that Bears-Commanders game last year. Mahomes has a huge arm and can get it there with ease, so why not try to make it difficult for him and bring pressure on what is going to have to be a play that takes a beat or two to develop. They end up sending, I believe that's 5 or 6 at him. They kind of flush him out of the pocket, and he just isn't able to even get the ball into the end zone with all of the pressure and having to roll away from it. So if I cut over really quickly to the end zone copy, again, you can see they've got 5 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. All 5 end up coming. Joey Bosa just absolutely working the left tackle there, flushed him out of the pocket. He isn't able to really set his feet the way that he liked, and the ball doesn't even get to the end zone, and that ends the game. A big-time victory for Buffalo here against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is going to do it for this film breakdown. Was really excited to see all the individual contributions in this Bills game, particularly Maxwell Hairston. Glad to see him balling out in Buffalo after that injury he sustained early in the season. The Bills now sit at 6-2 and look to have fully bounced back after that 2-game skid a few weeks ago, while the Chiefs now are going into their Week 10 bye week at 5-4. It's going to be a bit of a slugfest for them in the AFC West to try to potentially come back and win that division. Again, I think it's possible because there are always some cracks in the armor there with Denver and the Chargers being so up and down, particularly with Denver consistently having to come back from fourth quarter deficits to win this season. I think it's still a possibility where we see the Chiefs win that division, but it's going to be a lot more difficult sitting at 5-4 after this loss to the Buffalo Bills. But drop your thoughts in the comments. What did you think about the Bills defense in this one? What do you think about the trajectory of these two teams? If they meet again in the postseason, can the Bills finally get over the hump of the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. As always, I appreciate you. If you watch this video, please consider dropping a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you do not miss another upload. As always, I appreciate you, and I'm out.